So we can have this HR BR, then we can have H2. If we make it H1, it will take over the other effect, which is okay. H1, then we can say box shadow. Can begin with that. When we come to our page, these days we no longer need to refresh. We shall see. We've already set H1 to look like this, so no problem, this can stay here. Let us begin. We can have something small, we can just have, for example, we can say div, we can say B shadow for box shadow. Then we can say either paragraph, or we can just type it here. It also works as long as we're in the body section. It works. And say this is the first, or this is, or these are whatever. We can say first shadow, just like that. First shadow. So when we refresh our page, we are just going to see the word first shadow here. Here. Now let us work on that quickly, then we shall look at other things. The class was B shadow, I guess. I can write it here and say box dash shadow. So what this is doing is that we the class was B shadow, and now we can define the width. We can just say the width maybe to be 400 pixels. The height can be say 200 pixels. But if we want to see what we are doing, we can give it a background. Sea green. I like sea green. You will like yours, no problem. So when we go back, this is what we see currently here. Then what can we do? We can now say box dash shadow. The parameters are very important, please. We are going to begin with 7 pixels, top bottom, 7 pixels, left to right. This is what we shall see. That the shadow of black is now visible. So you have just created your first shadow. Let us add something else to it, just like we did with text. We can now get the same element here, copy down here, don't have to bother much. Then we just add a color. What color maybe should we add? We can add maybe gray. Let's add gray. So when we go back, instead of black we see color gray, like that. Let me also increase it like the one we had. I hope you are seeing, but just in case you are not seeing, let us use this amateur way of giving it space, such that when I scroll, can see it. So this is a gray color now. We can also choose, just like we were saying, here is color, we've added color. Then here we can add the blur effect, just the same class, but we keep on adding on other things. I told you the third parameter here would take up the blur effect, okay, because these are already covering all the 4 corners of this element. So this becomes the pixels that create the blur effect. And here we are seeing something different. You see something different. And what if we changed this color let me change this color to light. Let me change that color to light sea green. Then you can now see how the effect is looking, is taking shape. So that is the blur effect. You can do it on text, you can do it just like we have done. You can do it on text, you can do it on an image with an image description. Today I will not show you the image. I will wait such that you can see it properly under image designs, the next topic coming up. But I will show you the one for text. Let's look at that. I could have a class here, it is box shadow, and here you can say HR, BR. This HR needs to get in like that. So we can create a div, maybe we can call it the text. Inside text we can create another class that I can say number, just maybe or num, and then I can just give it h1 and say maybe 10, number 10. Then I create a container also. I could have begun with the container, that is okay. Or something that could create, say, description. We can say desk for description, and then we put a paragraph that says maybe Rooney, who else wears number 10 in Manchester United? Is it? I don't know. Cavani wears 7. Okay, Rooney 10. So when we come to our page here, what we see, okay, we are having this challenge of H1s. Can just shift this to an H2 because we've already set H1s. We can pick it using the class, but it's okay. It does have H2. I hope you've realized something. I've just typed H1 and then this was completed for me. That is autocomplete tag that we installed under extensions. You see, it is completing it for me. Then auto rename. If I wanted to rename this tag to be now image, you see image is being typed the other side also, so I don't have to edit all of these. As I remove, it removes itself. I had forgotten showing this to you. So when we come now, we have 10 and Rooney present like that. So what do we do? Let us begin. CSS, we've used the text here. In 10 minutes we shall be done. Do not get tired. This is for card, this is for text shadow 2, something like this, just to remember. So we had that as a class. Then we could say that maybe its width is about 300 pixels. Text line, whatever is inside there, should be aligned to center, because remember this is holding both Rooney and number 10. Then we could say that the box dash shadow should maybe be 0 for the start. We are going to use almost all the things we have studied, and we can maybe say 7. Then we can say maybe RGBA. We are going to create here, we would say black. I'm sure you know that. 0. We come to this, we say 0. To this also we say 0. The same applies to this one here. We can say 0.2. Then we can come and say here we want to mix more colors. We can put a comma, we can say 0, then 5 pixels. You could use 1. I am just trying to give you a very big hint such that you know that it exists instead of sitting and not being sure. RGBA. We can also mix the same color, but now we change it to say 0. Slightly to 2, such that it is lighter than this. Okay, so when we come back to look at what we have just done, this is what we find out, already taking shape. Now we can work on the contents by saying dot text. This content was an H3 dot text. It was contained where in num dot text dot num. We could say that the background color could be sea green. You will have time to do your own color that you like. The color of the word in there can be white. We could also allow some huge padding to create space in between, otherwise we would have defined the height of the element here to say 40 pixels, and then we say line height 40 pixels. It would automatically make all these to be vertically aligned, but then we would not have the opportunity to create what we want. So we can come here and maybe say padding, we can say 35 pixels, so all around is going to create a space of 35 pixels within the element, within the containing element text, meaning we are going to see equal spaces from top to bottom, left to right of 35 pixels. We can say font size, font dash size. We can even increase the size of that 10. Can make this around the 15 pixels. So we can come here. When we come, this is what we see. See 10. It may pick a lighter color. Still I want to run away. Right. What if I use the light straight blue? Right. Straight blue. Straight gray. Okay, that one. And I see how my element is. So I can come back here and do 10. So now you see we are almost there. Then we can, if we want, we can work on the number just to increase the space here of Rooney. If we say text, can say dot text dot what was it, class desk, and then we can simply say padding. Maybe the other one was 15. This can now be 10 pixels. Then we are enlarging how the downer part, how big the downer part should look like. So this is what we have now. If I increase the width or the height, it would now create something completely different. But this is what we wanted to do. We are going to look at this. You could also create, by the way, you could say that when you say dot text hover, that when you hover over this whole class box shadow, the box shadow should maybe be, say, let's say 5 pixels. If we create big, you can reduce it in your trials. 5 pixels. What should be the color? We can give it if we say the purple, but then we work on this purple look like this, not very dark, something like that. If it wants, we can use. So when we go back on our image, when we hover, you see that purple, but there is something small missing. We can increase the blur effect 10 pixels and then reduce this size. So we come back, here we are, you see it down there. Now this is better. We are going to look at these more in designing of images. If there is any question, please ask, then we can see how to answer it.